All right. So, September 2nd, that is not even that long ago. Not even that long from here from at that point. September 2nd, Last of Us Part 1 is actually being rebuilt for the PS5 with new graphics and new storytelling graphics. It's mostly just graphics from what I've been hearing. The last conversation we had with this was that it was supposed to be a remake. Apparently, it's not a remake. Apparently, it's a remastered, which is another part that's bumming me out. And also, the price of the game is very too high for a remastered game, especially if we're playing the same thing just with higher graphics. Today, PlayStation just released The Last of Us Part 1 rebuilt for the PS5 features and gameplay trailers for the PS5. And we got to have Neil, I think the head director of Last of Us Part 1 and 2, talk about some things. And we're going to basically sit here and watch graphics. So keep calm, drink on, and get into the video.
I'm coming.
More than 2 years ago, when we were finishing Last of Us Part 2, and we were working on those flashbacks within that scene for the first game, we got excited with the idea of like, oh man, what if we made The Last of Us Part 1 to look as good, if not better, than what we have done with Last of Us Part 2, which we really pushed the boundaries of like what we could do from gameplay and a graphical standpoint, and felt like if we do that, we could actually come even closer to our original vision of what the first game would have been had we not been constrained by technology.
Doesn't sound
than what the PlayStation 3 was capable of.
Jesus,
the tech of the PS5, it's like an open box of tools and goodies that we can play from and draw from. The 4K, HDR, improved haptics, 60 frames, help us to reimagine The Last of Us.
Jesus.
It gave us opportunities to rebuild our characters at the highest fidelity. Not only are the characters more detailed, I mean down to the irises and the pupil depth. You know, you fall into the eyes of the characters.
That looks really good. And
aside from that, the facial animation is just way more believable. Like all the nuances, all the little subtle reactions, glances, glares, right? Like you get all of it almost closer to sort of the original performances.
So no matter what, you stick to me like glue. Like glue. Like glue. Got it. Good. Good.
We are able now to not only just have the highest fidelity characters in the cutscene, but also in gameplay. It's the same character, so now we can do these seamless transitions in and out. Every part of the game has benefited from seamless transitions and emotional scripting.
Pretty good, huh?
Our stories happen in gameplay, on a stick.
She knew my mom.
All this stuff is designed to keep you constantly in this world.
Riley, come here. Now you got this, go.
One of the things that the PlayStation 5 is really enabling is that we're able to have a density of physics objects in a scene that we could never do before. Like, this has always been the dream, is to have this number of bumpables, chippables, breakables, destructible objects in a scene. It just makes the world feel rich, makes it feel lived in.
A lot of praise for the SSD, dude.
Materials kind of have the properties that you'd expect. The turret truck in Pittsburgh, when it's firing at you and it's just ripping apart the concrete and sending objects flying left and right.
Seeing things break, like there's fear, there's a real fear that it invokes.
And it's giving us a much more dynamic range of gameplay to play with.
Surround him!
Our AI tech has just increased incredibly. What we were building the basis off of was The Last of Us Part 2's AI. And it has sophisticated systems for things like the fundamental knowledge model of how these NPCs perceive and understand what the player is much more sophisticated.
Now how the enemies are communicating with each other, how they're chasing you, how they're flanking you, how intense that fight feels, it's so much more rewarding coming out of it from the other side.
Like Part 2.
Get out!
One of the other big AI improvements is the buddies. The buddies technology that we developed for The Last of Us Part 2 has this very sophisticated understanding of like, okay, this is where the enemies can see their exposure. We not only have exposure, we have future exposure. So buddies can know, okay, that enemy is walking forward and they're about to round this corner. So in 3 seconds, that corner is going to be exposed. So I'd better move now to avoid this enemy seeing me. This really lets the buddies make very complex decisions and maintain that feeling of stealth much more believably. Another big enhancement to the gameplay is that we have this technology called motion matching. Motion matching is this technology that's basically using logic that tries to match the desired movement to a bucket of hundreds of animations. A mocapped actor has gone in and run this whole gauntlet of movements to get a really full set of all the different ways a person can move. And then it's basically every frame trying to find the best matching animation that fits the path of where the character is going to go. And this motion model just gives this really seamless sense of transition. The player's movement is just a lot cleaner. It's this really smooth, organic movement through the space.
First, we just had to build that core experience.
Interesting, dude.
And then beyond that, we wanted to add several features that fans have been asking for. For example, we now have a permadeath mode. Along that, we've added a brand new speedrun mode, so players can time themselves. There's a whole community of gamers that just want to see how fast they can play through this game. Beyond that, we added a bunch more of unlockables. So there's all these different outfits for Ellie and Joel that people can unlock. A model viewer mode, so people can really appreciate the details. We added award-winning accessibility features.
Every single accessibility option that we offer, that's a barrier removed for someone.
As she surveys the apartment, her eyes wander to Joel. She steps past the couch. He wears the wristwatch Sarah gifted him, which now has a cracked face.
To my knowledge, this is the first PlayStation game that has audio description built into the game, built into the cinematics.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
Now it's nighttime. Joel stirs in his sleep.
And that's really the way we've tried to push the frontier of accessibility on this game.
That's cool, actually. That actually helps people who don't understand the story a lot more.
So much of the identity of The Last of Us is the world.
We revamped completely the art direction. You know, everything from these expansive vistas that not only are they beautiful, but you feel the environments. You feel the environments in a much more visceral way. The rooftops overlooking the Capitol building, for example, like just the breath of fresh air when you go up there and you just like, you feel that sort of release in tension. And then, you know, to juxtapose that down in the tunnels in Wilds, and you get that dank, flooded tunnel feel, that humidity, you can actually feel it. All these environments are just completely reimagined.
Now we got our engine on the PS5, those haptics, the 3D audio, the fast loading. It really creates a much more immersive, and because of that, much more emotional experience.
One of the things I absolutely love with the 3D audio in The Last of Us Part 1 is being able to hear an enemy before they sneak up on you. And trying to do a stalker fight with the 3D audio is just so much fun. You're hearing them skitter around in a different room, and you're hearing them trying to get up behind you.
Interesting.
Having that
is there
two-part
AI on the
reaction,
zombies
like
too,
hearing,
though?
turning,
Clickers?
seeing, reacting, it just really heightens that sense of just being grounded. You are in this character, you are in this world. Now, with the PlayStation 5, the amount of control that developers have over the DualSense, it's really, really cool. All the guns in the game have a variable amount of resistance on the triggers when you aim them. The way it works with bow is that at the very beginning, when they're starting to draw the bow, there's a little bit of resistance. And then as the bow gets tauter and tauter, the amount of resistance is increasing. And then when you release the bow, you're also getting that resistance going out of the trigger. When you are aiming and firing the shotgun, you're going to get a haptic vibration on the shot. And then what I think is one of the ways that the DualSense really advances things is you're going to get a haptic vibration on the pump of the shotgun. And what's much more sophisticated about that on the DualSense is that in effect has a little like speaker in it. And it's playing an audio file that comes through in the vibrations. And those two beats is what you're going to feel on the controller.
This looks like a good spot.
This also ties in to the new workbench animations. So if you're seeing Joel taking apart a gun or screwing something in or putting a new stock on a gun, that moment where he's like jamming that on, you're gonna get that haptic feedback on that. We have, haptics all across the board, for all the moments you kind of expect, for clambering, jumping, landing, meleeing, getting meleeed, like all those kind of high intensity moments we have represented in the haptics. What I personally absolutely adore is the way we can enhance the really quiet, subtle moments of gameplay. So it's like when Joel goes in to pet the giraffe, getting that little light touch on the haptics as he's petting the giraffe.
Oh,
to me, that's the essence of The Last of Us. It's the high tension moments, it's the low tension moments, it's all of it feeling grounded. You're feeling immersed in this world. It's all about bringing you along with that story in as many ways as we can. And that's what the new technology on the PlayStation 5 is allowing.
Was that everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out.
There's something special about that core experience of playing as Joel and Ellie on this journey. Then to take that experience and really honor it and keep the authenticity of it, but elevate it in every way possible, whether it's pipeline, whether it's art direction, whether it's technology, everything that allows us to make that experience better. Not different, extremely better. That's why, to me, this is the definitive way to play The Last of Us.
Well, he said it. Definitive way. He didn't say remaster, he didn't say remake, he said the definitive way. This is all great stuff, but that price tag, my God, you're gonna have to change it, dude. Straight the fuck up. No one's gonna want to pay for a full price game that has been remastered before, and it's on the PS5 already, with the ability to go backwards compatible to PS4. You can just play that. I mean, yeah, these quality images are nice. Like, they're good. I get it. They're very, very nice. But is it worth it? That's the real question. Is it worth to actually spend $70 out of your pocket to play a game that you already played before? Yeah, that's really up to the consumer, to be honest. There's a lot of great stuff in this game, like the graphics. They even showing you the AI of the enemy side, which, like I said, I'm expecting for it to be the clickers as well, showing you how the AI is working. Like, that's insane too. Like, that's crazy. It's showing you that where you can sneak attack or where you cannot. So it helps, but for sure, is it worth that price? $70, dude. $70 to play Last of Us Part 1 that came out in 2013? Yeah, 2013. It was released June 14, 2013. And then it came out a year later. Yeah, basically almost a year later for the PS4. And then with the backwards compatible, you have it on the PS5 already. Now they're re-releasing it with a whole different build. They should really consider that price tag. They should really consider that price tag. That price tag is not it at all. It all goes down to the consumer if he really wants to spend that much money or not. These additional gameplay modifiers are cool too. I like them as well. They're really it's different. Yeah, render models. It's a Photoshop. Yeah, photo mode. I think that was a thing on the first one too. Just wasn't as high def as this one is. Yeah, that's the only. This is all great stuff, but like I said, that price tag it gotta change, dude. It's gotta change if they want this game to sell really, really good. The difference between God of War and God of War Ragnarok and this one is that God of War Ragnarok is a brand new game that no one hasn't touched. The only ones who have touched God of War Ragnarok is the developers themselves and PlayStation probably. Last of Us Part 1, we've played it many, many times. We played it on the PS3, we played it on the remastered version, we played it backwards compatible. That's hard to convince the consumer to really get their hands on this game, dude. I know the adaptive triggers were going to be a thing. I knew that the touching and everything was going to be a new thing. I knew that was going to be a new thing to skins for things. I know a lot of things were going to be a new thing to Last of Us to make it more interesting. But for sure, it's just that price tag. So far, so good though. I think I might get it. I don't know. Like I said, that even as me who loves Last of Us, that price tag just makes you hesitate. Like, dude, do you really want to spend $70 for a game that's not even being remake? It's a definitive version, basically a remastered version of the game. It's going to be the same thing that you have played before. I didn't get to stream it. That is one thing. I didn't get to stream the first one. I did stream the second one, which, even though Joel dies in the second one, for sure, I still like the game a lot. But yeah, I think that it's the price tag. All right, guys, just like, share, comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Lates.